This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. Sri Lanka will receive 2 million doses of the Sinopharm vaccine tomorrow. The Ministry of Health says 919 more persons were tested positive for the novel coronavirus today. 108 tons of chemical fertilizer have been given to vegetable farmers in the Nuwara district. 3 sluice gates of the Kotmale Reservoir have been opened since this morning. News from overseas, Bangladesh factory owner arrested after blaze kills 52. Sri Lanka has registered 33 more COVID-19 related fatalities confirmed by the Director General of Health Services yesterday. The new development has pushed the official death toll due to the virus in Sri Lanka to 3,467. According to the data released by the Department of Government Information, the latest victims confirmed today include 19 males and 14 females. Reportedly, one of the victims is a female aged below 30 years. Among the other victims are 2 males and 3 females aged between 30 and 59 years, and 17 males and 10 females aged 60 and above. The Ministry of Health says 919 more persons were tested positive for the novel coronavirus today. 108 tons of chemical fertilizer have been given to vegetable farmers in the Nuwara district. Nuwara District Secretary Nandana Galabode said that the stock of fertilizer was distributed by the Kandapala Agrarian Service officers through agro organizations. 11,000 hectares of lands in the Nuwara district have been cultivated with vegetables for the Yala and Maha seasons. Measures will be taken to provide chemical fertilizer without any shortage by the end of August. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank, celebrating 60 years of empowering the nation.
We continue with local news. Assistant Director of the Nuwara District Disaster Management Unit, Ranjit Alhakon, says that 3 sluice gates of the Kotmale Reservoir have been opened since this morning. 3 sluice gates of the upper Kotmale Reservoir have been opened automatically due to heavy rains in the upper catchment area of the reservoir, according to officials. Residents on both sides of the Kotmale Oya have been warned to be careful of flooding, as the other sluice gates of the reservoir will also automatically open in the event of further rains in the catchment areas. Meanwhile, the water levels of the Kalani, Kalu, Ginganga and Nilwala rivers have risen due to heavy rains. The Irrigation Department says that overflow levels have been reported in several areas. Due to this, people living in the low-lying areas on both sides of the river should be on high alert for the flood situation, the Disaster Management Centre said. The upper and central areas of the Kalani River basins have received more than 150 millimeters of rainfall so far. Therefore, the Disaster Management Centre states that there is a possibility of minor floods in the low-lying areas of the Kalani River Valley in the Dehiyovita, Ruwanbella, Sitavaka, Dompe, Kaduwela, Biyagama, Kolanava and Wattala Divisional Secretariats within the next 24 hours. The number of train operations being implemented in the Western Province will be increased to 100. It will be implemented from Monday. General Manager of Railways, Dhammika Jayasundar, said it is expected to increase the number of trains operating gradually in future. Next, we take a look at the main news story.
Towards a new dimension in innovation, People's Bank, celebrating 60 years of empowering the nation.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
2 flights chartered by Sri Lankan Airlines have departed to China to bring 2 million doses of the Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccines. This is reportedly the largest consignment of coronavirus vaccines Sri Lanka will be receiving on a single day. The 2 flights, UL 686 and UL 869, are expected to return from Beijing to the island at around 5 a.m. tomorrow. Meanwhile, Minister Namal Rajapaksa said that opportunities will be given to cricket fans to witness the cricket matches after 60% of the overall population have been vaccinated. That was the main news story. Watchlight follows.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. The residents in the Hambantota area are facing many difficulties due to not having a street light at the first bus stand situated on the 100-foot road from Hambantota to Suryawaba. This situation has caused many difficulties for travellers at night. They request the relevant authorities to provide a street light for this bus stand. This is for the attention of the chairman of the Pradeshya Sabha of Hambantota. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news will follow. Headlines: Bangladesh factory owner arrested after blaze kills 52. Haiti requests foreign troops after president's assassination. South African police arrest 27 over protests linked to Zuma jailing. Police in Bangladesh have arrested the owner of a factory where at least 52 people died in a fire late on Thursday. Abdul Hashem, the owner of Hashem Foods, and 4 of his sons were among 8 people detained today. Police say they all face murder charges. Authorities said many of those who died were trapped inside the building because a main exit was locked. Children were among the victims, and a separate inquiry into the use of child labour has been launched. Bangladesh Labour Minister Monujan Sufani told AFP news agency that she had been to a hospital and spoken to survivors as young as 14 years. Haiti has asked for foreign troops to be sent to the country to protect key infrastructure after the assassination of President Jovenel Moise. The request was sent by the government to the US and the UN, but the US says it has no plans to offer military assistance at this time. Haitian police earlier said a group of 28 foreign mercenaries killed the president on Wednesday. After a gun battle in the capital of Port-au-Prince, 17 of them were detained. Some of the group, which Haiti says included retired Colombian soldiers, were held at the house they were using. Others after entering Taiwan's diplomatic compound, the police said. South African police said today that 27 people have been arrested over violent protests linked to former President Jacob Zuma's imprisonment. Protests raged this week in parts of KwaZulu-Natal, KNZ, Zuma's home province, after the former president handed himself over to police to serve a 15-month jail term for contempt of court. It was a remarkable fall for a revered veteran of the African National Congress Liberation Movement who was jailed by South Africa's white minority rulers for his part in his struggle to make everyone equal before the law. To end this bulletin of world news, we take a look at the headlines again. Bangladesh factory owner arrested after blaze kills 52. Haiti requests foreign troops after president's assassination. South African police arrest 27 over protests linked to Zuma jailing. That ends this bulletin of world news. Development news is up next.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
On to development news. The final hydropower plant of the Lakshapana facility, Brobland's hydropower plant, constructed in the Kitulgala area in Polpitiya near the Kalani River, is being constructed successfully. The capacity of this power plant has an output of 35 megawatts. The cost of the construction is $82 million. That was development news. A look at sports news next.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
On to sports news. Former Sri Lankan skipper Mahela Jayawardena is set to join the Sri Lanka under-19 cricket team as a consultant from October. Sri Lanka Cricket Technical Committee Chairman Aravinda De Silva yesterday confirmed that Jayawardena has agreed to work with the Sri Lanka under-19 players. De Silva said that Jayawardena will help prepare the team for the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup, which is scheduled to be held in the West Indies next year. Jayawardena, of course, will not work as a full-time coach, but is expected to provide his support to the Sri Lanka Under-19 coaching staff in an attempt to prepare them for the major event. That was a look at sports news. Business news is up next.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman said that Sri Lanka's first quarter growth would be better than expected. Despite the fact that the GDP estimates for the first quarter of 2021 have not been released, Governor Professor Lakshman said the Sri Lankan economy is likely to have recorded a higher than expected growth rate in the first quarter of 2021 based on information such as the Index of Industrial Production, agricultural sector performance and private sector, among others. In terms of foreign debt service obligations, the government of the central bank have taken several steps to ensure the impeccable debt service record of the country amid the most challenging times. That was a look at business news. Economic news follows.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
A friendly meeting between the High Commission of Bangladesh to Sri Lanka, Tariq Ariful Islam, and the chairman of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, SLPA, Captain Nihal Kapitipula, was held recently at the chairman's office at the SLPA. Views were exchanged with the ambassador on the current state of the shipping industry in Sri Lanka. He emphasised the importance of the government of Sri Lanka, the government of Bangladesh, the port of Sri Lanka, the port of Chittagong of Bangladesh, and the other regional ports working together in a friendly and strategic manner for the development of the regional shipping industry. That was economic news. And finally, we take a look at the weather report.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Finally, the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, central, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and southern provinces. Heavy showers above 100 millimetres can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Matara districts. A few showers will occur in the northern province. Strong gusty winds up to 60 kilometres per hour are likely at times over western slope of the Central Hills, and gusty winds up to 50 kilometres per hour at times are likely in the northern, north central, northwestern, western and southern provinces and in the Trincomalee district. That was a look at the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To end tonight's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. Sri Lanka will receive 2 million doses of the Sinopharm vaccine tomorrow. The Ministry of Health says 919 more persons were tested positive for the novel coronavirus today. 108 tons of chemical fertilizer have been given to vegetable farmers in the Nuwara district. 3 sluice gates of the Kotmale Reservoir have been opened since this morning. News from overseas, Bangladesh factory owner arrested after blaze kills 52. That ends tonight's news broadcast.